What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reactions, where we are staying in Poland tonight. Oh yeah, we are going to be checking out Poland versus UK public transport, the difference no one talks about. Grab my side, checks one out. We ain't going to waste no more time. Just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh yeah.
Imagine paying an enormous part of your monthly income just to get to work every single day. For many people in the United Kingdom, this is normal. And when those same people visit or move to Poland, one question comes up again and again. How did public transport here become so affordable, so reliable and so quietly effective? Welcome back to The Poland. This channel looks at life in Poland honestly, often through the eyes of someone who did not grow up here, and that distance helps me notice things that locals sometimes overlook. One of those things is public transport. Not as an abstract system, but as something that shapes daily life, stress levels, freedom of movement, and even social equality.
This is so important.
Public transport is not about trains and buses alone. It is about time, money, and dignity. It is about whether getting to work feels manageable or exhausting before the day even begins. When you compare Poland and the UK through that lens, the differences become very clear. Cost is the first and most painful difference. In the UK, public transport, especially rail, is extremely expensive. Commuters often spend hundreds of pounds every month just to travel to and from work. In some cases, a season ticket costs as much as rent. This forces people to make constant calculations about travel, limiting where they live, how often they visit family, and whether they can afford spontaneous trips at all. In Poland, public transport feels designed to be used, not avoided. Monthly city passes are affordable for most working people. Students, seniors, and families receive meaningful discounts that actually make a difference. One ticket often works across buses, trams, and the metro systems, removing complexity and anxiety. The financial burden of moving around a city is much lighter, and that freedom is deeply felt in everyday life. Reliability is another area where the contrast matters. In Poland,
It's amazing what Poland has done in a short space of time. You would think the UK would have a much better public transport system than Poland. And he's saying that's not the case. And it's just amazing how they did that. And it's not just about having those methods of transportation, but the reliability aspect is something that's so important as well. And he's about to touch on that. We're going to take it back just a bit.
another area where the contrast matters. In Poland, most urban transport runs on time, and delays, while not rare, are not expected as the default. Trams arrive when the timetable says they will. Trains may be late occasionally, but the system feels predictable enough to trust. In the UK, unpredictability has become part of the culture. Delays and cancellations are common, and commuters often leave extra time simply because they expect something to go wrong. Weather, staffing issues, and infrastructure problems regularly disrupt services. Over time, this creates frustration and fatigue, turning the daily commute into a source of stress rather than a neutral routine.
Yeah, uncertainty.
Coverage tells another important story. London has one of the most extensive public transport networks in the world, and within the capital, mobility is impressive. But outside London, the picture changes dramatically. Many towns and rural areas in the UK have limited bus services and infrequent trains. Late-night transport is rare, and without a car, everyday life becomes complicated. In Poland, public transport coverage is more evenly distributed. Major cities have dense networks of buses and trams, and even medium-sized towns often remain connected by rail or regional buses. Night transport exists in many cities, allowing people to work late, socialize, or travel safely without relying on cars. This makes cities more accessible and inclusive for young people, the elderly, and those on lower incomes. The experience of using public transport also feels different. In Poland, many vehicles are modern, clean, and quiet. Trams and buses are frequently upgraded, stations are improving, and signage is clear. The system feels maintained and respected. In the UK, the experience varies widely. Some routes are modern and comfortable, while others...
And that's something people may overlook. Yes, you could have not just like a transportation system, but anything, maybe a building, uh, your own car. But one thing people may overlook in that factor is maintenance. Maintenance is so important. From the videos that I've seen, the buses in Poland, they look brand new, like they were just put there just for this video. It just looks brand new. Everything looks fresh. So that tells me that they're doing constant maintenance on their buses and also all the facilities that's needed to run this operation. So that is also a major factor in reliability as well, because if you maintain it to a standard, it's going to work and do the job, function properly. So that is a good aspect as well.
Varies widely. Some routes are modern and comfortable, while others feel outdated and overcrowded. Standing for long periods is often normalized, and comfort is treated as a bonus rather than a standard. When people pay high prices for that experience, dissatisfaction grows quickly. Behind all of this is a difference in philosophy. In Poland, public transport is largely publicly owned or municipally controlled. The focus is on service, accessibility, and integration between different modes of transport. Decisions tend to prioritize long-term usability rather than short-term profit. In the UK, decades of privatization created a fragmented system with multiple operators, confusing ticket structures, and inconsistent standards. Profit incentives often clash with passenger experience. Even now, the UK is slowly moving back toward public control of rail services, an acknowledgement that the previous model failed many users.
Makes sense.
What makes this comparison especially interesting is that many people in Poland see their public transport as average. Complaints exist, as they should in any functioning society. But from an outside perspective, Poland's system looks efficient, affordable, and designed for real life. It supports independence, reduces inequality, and allows people to move freely without constant financial pressure.
True.
Public transport reveals how a country values time and ordinary people. In that sense, Poland has built something quietly impressive. Not perfect, but practical, humane, and increasingly modern. The UK, despite its scale and history, continues to struggle with cost, consistency, and trust.
Yes, I've always said that the privatization of public transportation is a major problem. There are many factors, negative factors that comes along with it. The inconsistency, the owners are going to put things in their best interest and not for the public. So that's where all the problems going to come from, going to stem from. But if the majority of the public transportation in the country is owned publicly, by the government, it is better in terms of longevity, where things can be done in a manner where it suits the public. But when it's privately owned, it may start out good, but as always, greed may come into place, and the owner might put his finances before public standard. You might not care about the public standard. It makes sense that the majority of Poland's public system is owned by the government, which is awesome, and that makes perfect sense. So many countries should follow suit. Maybe it's difficult to do, but I would think it's something that is needed. It's not a one that's needed where the government should be the major ones controlling the major infrastructure of public transportation, so it can run at least smoother than the normal. This was some good information. This was a little more in depth as to why that is. It's a short video, but there are things that I didn't get from the other video. I think I did a video from the same channel, talked about public transportation, but he didn't include some of the information in that one. So that was good to know that it's majority of the transportation in Poland is publicly owned, and I would have to assume this is why it is running smoothly as it is. Yeah. If you want to see that long journal as I do, hit me up on Dyce Reacts where I do music reactions. This is where I'm going to be making my exit. So until next time, peace out.